Hello, humans and other species. I'm Batsy, and today we are going to spend some time in creative, building a little island. In the last episode, I mentioned that I was planning to start a new base without the nightmares that produces my industrial area, and I gave some ideas on where we could go. Practically all of you said that we should make an artificial island, so that's what we are going to work on today. I'm not going to show the entire process because I'm a complete noob with the Axiom mod and I'm not confident about what I'm doing, so instead, I want to mention a couple of things about where this new project is going and how that will change the videos a little bit. The first thing that I wanted to mention and change from the format I have been using so far is the way I talk and narrate the story. I always try to explain things from the point of view of me explaining my thought process, or showing what are my intentions and so on, but that feels less engaging for you viewers. It feels almost like sharing stuff on Twitter or something, very one-sided. I want to change the main focus of my videos so the narrative is our journey through the series and through the world. I might make decisions for us all, but in general, I want to narrate it in a way that all of you are included in it, and that you viewers have more to say about where the new project goes. That also means that I will need more activity in the comments so I know what you all want to do or how you all want to continue the project. I really hope that I'm explaining it properly because it's easy for me to imagine how to switch the narrative, but it's not as obvious to understand what I'm saying. And I want to make something clear. This change doesn't come from a point of me wanting more comments in the videos. I gave this a long thought, and I think the content will have better quality this way, and anyone who knows me will know that I always aspire to provide good quality in what I do. I know I don't need to justify myself. I just want to express my intentions properly. The second and third things I wanted to change, which they go somewhat together. One is that just like right now with making this island, I want to learn to terraform and do better landscapes. But there is a very specific style I want to aim for, which is a more cartoony way of building. I'm going to try to show a couple of examples of what I mean as I edit this segment, but in short, I want to make the landscape look like it's a video game, like it's a set of Legos, more than just a very realistic mountain or whatever it is that we are doing. I want to make islands with very vibrant colors, a lot of contrast, and low levels of realism. I really like this idea, and I honestly think it's cooler looking. That's my thought on the new islands. Instead of making one big island to fit a town and try to terraform realistically as we move along, I want to interconnect several smaller islands. Maybe one day we need to make a redstone factory. Well, we can make a new island and decorate it accordingly. I think Axiom is an amazing tool, and I really want to get good at using it for the style I want to create. And I want to learn Axiom for a couple of reasons. I think sometimes I spend way too much time tackling projects that honestly end up being too big for me. So to fix that, I want to learn more about Axiom, and I want to depend more on my supporters who play with me to help me gather materials and try to rely more on the canon to do the terraforming. I also want to do smaller projects, which I actively try to do, but I just always end up doing massive stuff for no reason. I want to try to do a better job at that. The reason behind all of that is that it's harder to be more interactive with you viewers if I barely have the time to tackle the massive project I'm working on and that I believe leads to less quality and just a bigger thing for the sake of making it bigger. My intention moving forward is to make the narrative more interactive and to create more lore and stories. Which, to clarify, I mean exactly that. To introduce more lore and stories, no role-playing or anything like that. To give an example, maybe we need mending books, so we could bring a villager to town and make it a cultist that we found while exploring, and maybe invent a reason why they know how to write a mending book or something. Something simple that could play on the theme of the town, the style of the house for said villager, and so on. I honestly believe it's gonna make for more enjoyable content. And I want to be able to spend less time doing massive things alone, instead of focusing on the editing, which is what I actually like. After the several hours of creative building that you saw in the background, I went ahead and printed the island in the live server, which took 2 entire days. I'm not even kidding. It was absurdly slow. I think there is still a lot to be done here, but I'm happy with how it's looking and the style it has. I will go ahead and do the final touches and start preparing for this week's video, since this one is just a small update for the project to come. I will bring you all in a short moment. Well, that ended up not being a short moment at all. I have been working on this for a couple of days now. That said, it's looking so much better. It was well worth the effort. There is still an entire section that I haven't done yet, but I don't plan on doing anything there for several episodes. I didn't want to delay this video any further. But the rest is looking so amazing. Let's take a quick look-see with FreeCam. Check this out, you all. Isn't this the coolest island? It took me a long time to come up with the exact style I wanted to go for, and I think this is it. This is really what I had in mind. One of the things I love the most is the use of targeted green parts. Instead of leaving the main areas with grass, I think that was the change that was needed. This is a pretty good angle. This could be a nice thumbnail. Hold on, let me see if I can get a better time of the day for this. Alrighty, I think 3000 is the way to go. This looks fantastic. I might use this for the thumbnail. Well, enough of that. Let's continue the tour. So, the ramp. Ended up changing all of that for dirt. As you all can see in the reference picture, the main parts with vegetation are actually the sides and edges, or around the water. Which, I think this picture nailed it. I really like this style. I so love how the edges look with all of those stones and leaves, while the main ramp is just some textured paths with oak wood. I'm so in love with this section. On the other side, this is the first test I made to add rocks and things at the ledge of the ramp, which I honestly kinda like it more. At least up close, I think it looks somewhat better. I'm not sure about it. From far away, the rocks look so much cooler, I think. Although looking from up close, they are still amazing, so I'm probably talking nonsense here. We will have to sit on this for a bit and see what we end up doing for the ramps. I'm kind of more inclined toward the spare rocks, which I think look neat. Or to be honest, leave both as they are. It's not bad to have variety. The swamp area is pretty much what I like the least. I honestly have no idea what I was doing here. It just looks like a mess. I do like the logs and some of the details though. I think that turned out quite alright, all things considered. But let's not look at it too much. Look at this amazing beach though. Now that looks nice. The front part of the beach is kinda awkward because I have no idea where I'm going with it. I feel like it's too vertical and there should be something in there, but I don't know what that something looks like if I'm honest with you. The part with the coral looks really nice. It's basically one of those sections near a beach with tons and tons of rocks. At least here, where I live, this is fairly common all along the coastline. It's areas with so many rocks of similar sizes that you can walk several meters along the rocks just fine. Some areas are surprisingly flat due to the water making it there and eroding the rocks. And it looks almost exactly like that, with some different elevations but mainly quite flat, some different tones of gray, with a bit of moss and plants here and there. This is honestly quite spot on, to be honest. At the back, I went for the idea of a very mossy beach, with many rocks and vegetation. Leaving the massive vines aside, this type of lot of rocks and moss everywhere is something I have seen a lot when I was a kid. I have spent countless hours diving on beaches like these, and it was more or less what I was using as a reference. Well, minus the fact that those beaches used to be plagued with colorful fishes and so much life. As for the vines go, I don't know why, but I thought this would be the coolest idea, and I honestly love it. I wanted to fill up the gap between the ledge and the beach, and it reminded me of those movies like King Kong and whatnot. They usually have massive vines and a lot of mossy stuff everywhere. So that's basically what I tried to do, just as an excuse so the middle doesn't look so empty. I think there is enough variety too, and I'm happy with this entire section. I said it before, but this really is my favorite part of this project. While I was texturing the sand, I made sure that it was well noticeable that the part with the most shadow during the day is where it's more moist too, which it does happen on a beach. And you can see near the rocks and plants the sand has a more green tone to it. On beaches with a lot of vegetation, it tends to happen, especially if the sand is very wet. It eventually gets this dirty green color. Then there is this little dock which might not make a lot of sense right away. I basically think that we should add a boat in that corner. I really think so. All right, now that I skipped the night, let me explain my thought process. While I was building the vines, you can see from this angle that the left corner really feels empty compared to the rest. But it's also in the shadows, unlike the other vines. Anything we build there that is lower than the ramp, it's barely gonna be seen. The gap is also pretty wide compared to the other sections, so the plan of adding vines wasn't as good on this side. And the vines need to have a proper curve to look somewhat okay, even if not realistic. Because it's so wide, they will mostly be almost at the water level and be in the shadows. It really doesn't sound any good. But we just need something that is 3 or 4 blocks tall to start receiving some light, and I honestly think this is big enough to fit a medium-sized boat. At least that's my idea for that corner. Haven't thought of anything better for it. If we look at it again from that angle, I really think a boat there is gonna look amazing, which we could use as our base or something, at least for the initial stuff. What else is there? Right, there is still this area, but already said that I will be finishing the base stuff another time, maybe during the weekend if I have nothing else to do. That's more or less for the tour. Now let's take a look at the next 2 episodes, because I came up with an idea on how to do this. If I ask right now, what should we do next time? I won't have time to wait for the comments before I start working on the next project. So my idea is, I will ask 2 episodes before. That means that in this next episode, I need something to work on, and I came up with the boring part that needs to be done anyway. Right where I'm standing, I feel like it's the perfect stop for a steam engine. I can place here a couple of big water wheels and have them on a waterfall or something like that. Then up here I'm going to place down a couple of steam engines, maybe even just one. Maybe we could have them with a chimney and all of that. I think that's going to be looking really nice. So while I work on that, we still need to come up with what we are going to do on the episode after that one. I really liked the idea of giving simple options with the numbers and all of that. I think that will be the method to be used for this. It will just take a bit of time until we have a list of at least 4 projects that we can display, because right now, I was so focused on this terraforming that I forgot to think about future projects. Other than, of course, the ship that we could use for something, potentially for the crafting bench and whatnot, like a basic starting setup. I'm trying to find a good angle to show this island. Alright, this is good enough. So, the first option for the future of the project, a ship of sorts at spot number 1. We also need a workstation that I have no idea where that could be placed, or with what theme. We should get a food source too, because I don't want to go to my industrial area all the time. And we probably need an andesite farm. We are super low on that, which includes a cobble generator, so that could be used on its own too. What else is there to do early on? Oh, we need a wood farm too, and maybe something that makes moss. I'm producing it manually right now. Let me know in the comments what things would make sense to tackle, and hopefully for the next episode, I have a better list of projects to work with. For now, this will have to be it for this episode. I hope you all enjoy this change, and that it makes the videos more fun to watch and interact with. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.